Hi, my name is Jody Ortiz, and I have been writing professionally since around 2004. As a ghostwriter, I wrote over 100 books for clients around the world, and I've written a few books for myself. So I kind of write in almost every genre. I write children's books, I write books on how to go vegan. I've written books, true crime books, lots of how-to books. I kind of write everything, so I know a little bit about writing books, and I'm here to share with you time management tips for busy writers. I know I get busy and I have a lot going on some days, and some days it's hard to find times to write, so I wanted to give you a few tips from myself and from some of the most prolific writers on how to write when you're really busy. And a lot of people these days have full-time jobs, you have kids, you're caregivers, and you work from home and you get interrupted, or you struggle to stay consistent. I apologize in advance for my dog. He's 19 years old and he just had his second hip surgery in the past 3 months. So he is recovering and he is pinned up in a small area. And so every time somebody walks by, he's like, "Oh, I want to see what you're doing," because he can't get out. We don't want him to slide on the floors and, tear open his stitches or whatever. So I apologize in advance if you hear barking occasionally. So the first thing that you'll want to do is set clear goals. Any coach, any therapist will tell you that goals will help you stay on track, help you, give you something to work toward. And so setting clear goals as a writer is very important. Whenever I would start on a book for a client, in the contract that we made before we would start working together, I would set goals in the contract and let them know, okay, I'm going to deliver this many words or this many pages before this date, this many words or this many pages before that date. And it also had a payment schedule so that they would know, when I've turned in this many pages or this many words, this is when you pay me the next amount due. Even when you're working for yourself, it's important to do that and hold yourself accountable. I'm really bad about if I'm not being held accountable by somebody else, I'm really bad about keeping up with the goals. So it helps if you have something that you keep up with. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is I set my goals on my Google Calendar, and then I connect my Google Calendar to my Alexa. I have Alexas in almost every room of the house, so every day it will tell me, you write book 4 or whatever, because I have a goal this year to write 10 books. And so write book 4 by, or edit book 4, or start marketing book 4, or do the cover for book 4. It tells me what I'm supposed to be working on that day, and tells my entire family so they know, hey, is she behind on her goals? Did she not, have we seen a book from her yet this year? It kind of helps me be held accountable. So my goal setting for the year was, I'm writing 10 books by the end of the year. And I actually already had 3 of them pretty much written. I'm just editing them, so I had a little head start. So you want to set a goal of either word count or page count, and maybe get an accountability coach like your Alexa or like a family member, a close friend, and say, hey, I'm going to be writing this many words, this many pages. I'm going to have this book done by this date, and let them know what your goal is. That way they can help hold you accountable. They can check in with you occasionally and say, hey, how are you doing? And let them know in advance that you don't need extra pressure. Like, you don't need them to, you don't want any negative talk, because you already, as a writer, we already do enough negative self-talk. So you just want them to motivate you and keep you on track, and say, and maybe celebrate with you. Say, oh, okay, you've written this many pages. Let's go out to dinner. Let's have ice cream. Let's do something fun. So that helps. Stephen King writes 6 pages a day, and he sticks to this. No excuses. He says, if you write 1,000 words a day in 3 months, you'll have a novel, which is true. I wrote one of my recent novels that I've written. I wrote it in 11 days. I just sat and worked on it day and night, and so you can write it faster than you think, or you can take up to a year, 3 years. I've heard of people taking longer than that to write novels. So whatever amount of time you think you need to write your novel, it's doable. Just set your word count or your page count, whatever your goal you're tracking. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter while being a single mom. She used the short bursts, the focused writing time when her baby napped. So if you set that minimum goal, and you can use a word tracker app or a notebook to log your progress. Example, you can state, I'll write 200 words on my lunch break and 300 after dinner, because small steps make big results. I'm vegan, obviously, but I used to be in Mary Kay. I've actually made it to the top 2% of Mary Kay within 6 months, something like that. And one of my favorite sayings from Mary Kay was, anyone can eat an elephant one bite at a time. So you can do it no matter how big your goal is. And if you see me reading occasionally, I have notes on my iPad to keep me on track. Otherwise, this video will be an hour long. I will keep you here all day. And also, you can make a writing schedule. If Haruki Murakami wakes up at 4 a.m. and writes 5 to 6 hours before the world wakes up. If you have small kids, sometimes writing early in the morning or late at night, or like J.K. Rowling did, during nap time. Those are great writing times, because when you're writing, you really get into a flow, and any interruptions are going to bring you out of that flow and make it hard for you to get back into the flow. When I was ghostwriting for people, I would write, 2-3 books a month for clients. I wrote my first book in 9 days. It was a 250-page book, and it was on a topic that I already knew. It was on how to start a business, and I grew up, in a household with an entrepreneur who started his own business, and my whole family worked for my dad. So, and my major in college before I started writing was accounting, so I knew a lot about the topic. And when I would get stuck, I would go outside and walk or do household chores. So that's something that you can do. You can get some kind of digital recording device. I have several little tape players. I even have, let me see if I can grab it off my thing here. I even have this lovely headgear piece that goes across your neck, and then you put your phone or your tape recorder or whatever right here, and you can do chores. You can walk while you record, or you can, if you're more updated than I am, you can use earbuds or earpods and walk or clean house or whatever and speak out your words. And then when you get it on the computer, then you can edit and make it flow better. That's another tip for keeping going. I use my treadmills occasionally, or my bike, or my Total Gym, and I will do talking and writing while I'm doing one of those. And also Toni Morrison wrote while raising 2 kids and working full time. She found time to write before her kids woke up or late at night. So that's 2 options. If you work 9 to 5, wake up 30 minutes earlier, or write at night. And while your kids are doing homework, if you have school-age kids, you can say, okay, this is going to be everybody's study time, or everybody's homework time, or reading time, if they have reading goals at school. And you can sit and do your writing while they're doing their reading, and make it kind of a quiet time. if you're a caregiver, my daughter was in a wheelchair for almost 6 years, and so I spent a lot of time taking care of her and everything. So I use the notes option on my phone, and I would sit in waiting rooms and write or scribble on sketch pads. Or one of my favorites to use. It's just a little free write, and it's just a simple word processor. It connects to the internet to email you your words, but you don't have to, there's like no browsing or anything like that, so it's not distracting, and it's very small, and so you can carry it with you. Free write's a good thing to use like in a waiting room. You can do early morning or bedtime hours as a caregiver. You can say, I set aside Sunday mornings from 8 to 10 as my writing church. No interruptions allowed. If you are free on Sunday mornings, like if that's the time that somebody comes and gives you a break, or your kids are somewhere, then you can use Sunday mornings for your writing time. And when you're a writer, you're going to deal with interruptions. One of the things that I had happen constantly, especially before working at home became a thing, was I was frequently interrupted. I would have people think, okay, well, she's home, so she has time to do this or go there or make this call or do that. And so this is going to happen. And, if you have kids, like somebody at the school might think, oh, well, they have time to volunteer, or they have time for this or that. So you have to make it clear, this is what I'm doing, this is my goal, and I cannot be interrupted during these times. You can put a sign on your door, this is writing. I have this little office space, which is, is pretty cluttered, but it's my kind of zen space. It's filled with all the things creative for me, and I have a sign on the door, like when my door is closed, I'm writing, so please don't interrupt. So you could put the do not disturb sign on your door, use noise canceling headphones, or train your family and friends and say, this is my writing time and it's not negotiable. On your phone, if you have an iPhone, there is an option to choose work, and you can put on there who can interrupt you during work. So turn your phone off so nobody else can call you. They can leave a message if it's not like on your emergency list or whatever. They can leave a message, and that way you're not answering the phone all day. And keep a notebook nearby. If somebody interrupts you, jot down your thoughts so you don't use your flow. When I would do walking and stuff, when I was ghostwriting, I didn't have a lot of electronic options available, and I would go on my walk and I would think of the perfect way to word whatever it was I was trying to word, and then I would get back in the house and I couldn't remember what I thought of at the time. So keep a notebook nearby, or a tape recorder, or your phone, something where you can jot down your thoughts so you don't use your flow. And you can also use a timer. My daughter used to use the Pomodoro method, I believe that's what it's called. And she would set a timer and say, okay, I'm going to write for 10 minutes or 25 minutes. And so you can tell your kids or your family, hey, give me 25 minutes, give me 30 minutes, give me an hour. And when this timer goes off, I will be finished and I can help you at that time. To handle people who think you're not busy, you need to set boundaries. And it's not easy at first, but it's something that needs to be done. So practice saying no. I'd love to help, but I'm on a tight deadline today. You can call it work. Say I have a meeting at 2 o'clock. So it sounds more serious than I need to write. Or you can set up auto reply text messages. Hey, I'm in the middle of writing. I'll get back to you later. I tell people, I'm working from home. My job just happens to be writing and I am busy, so I cannot help you. So get into that habit. Ray Bradbury wrote Fahrenheit 451 in quick, intense bursts at a library's coin-operated typewriter using the Pomodoro method. Things like that work if you only have a few minutes to tell people, hey, I'm busy, I cannot be disturbed during this time. You'd be surprised how much you can get finished if once you're like motivated to really make that time work for you. You can batch similar tasks together like Agatha Christie did. She outlined her mysteries in one sitting and then drafted them in chunks. For example, you can say, okay, on Monday I'm going to outline this chapter. On Tuesday I'm going to write the dialogue. On Wednesday I'm going to edit it. Thursday through Saturday I'm going to write freely. That gives you a schedule to say, okay, I'm going to do this task on this day, and so that you can get it done in chunks. Even if you're tired, you can get something finished in like 10 to 15 minute bursts. Maya Angelou wrote while traveling. She'd rent a hotel room and write in short sessions. You can write while you're waiting for an appointment, dictate notes while cooking or driving, write on your phone during lunch breaks. You can write in the car while waiting for soccer practice to end. Like I said before, I use the notes section on my phone a lot. Sometimes I will get motivated to write a poem, and I write almost all my poem in notes, and I've lost a lot of them, really, but thankfully I publish them as soon as I finish them on TikTok or wherever, so I have them. I can just rewrite them down, but I do a lot of my writing in notes because I get sudden ideas, like waiting for a doctor or something like that. It's important to reward yourself for writing. Roald Dahl treated himself to chocolate bars after writing sessions. When you hit a goal, treat yourself to a coffee break, a favorite snack, or a new book. Or you can, let yourself watch your favorite show after you finish your word count. So sometimes I will eat lunch at my desk, and I love taking a break at lunch. I love going in the living room, kicking back in the recliner, and watching, something just completely mindless, like a housewife show, or I like to watch a lot of shows where they sell real estate. I like to look at the houses, and I don't know, I like the drama. I like to watch the drama in the shows. So you can, instead of taking a lunch break, eat at your desk. That's what I do sometimes. I eat at my desk, and I only watch my favorite show after I finish the work for the day. So there you have it. I've shared real actionable tips to make time for writing no matter how busy life gets. It's your turn. What's your best time management tip? Drop it in the comments, and follow me for more hacks and motivation. And keep writing, keep dreaming, and keep being your authentic self.